It is Sunday evening, July 20th, 2025. Team Bitcoin in the house. I want to recognize Yippee Rum, Daniel, and Pixelated Builders, our newest team members. That subscribing and liking helps out the channel. It tells me I'm in the right direction, and I'm hoping you're profiting from this Bitcoin news. So let's get into it. Cuba turns to Bitcoin and crypto to survive 60 plus years of US sanctions. Wow, it's been a whole generation. I wasn't even alive when all this started, but we essentially, the United States of America, in a roundabout way, shut down trade with Cuba and their banking system. And essentially, in 2021, Cuba became the second country in the world to officially recognize Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as legal payments. So it's estimated between 100 to 200,000 Cubans transact in Bitcoin. They're not allowed to use PayPal, most credit cards, they can't even shop on Amazon. So even sending money home became difficult in 2020 because Western Union shut down its locations there, 400 plus. So you have a lot of Cuban Americans that need to send money home, and we've basically shut that off. So what did Cuba do? Well, they turned to Bitcoin because why? It's borderless, it's decentralized, it's secure, and most importantly, not controlled by government. Now, unfortunately, only 1 to 2% of the island's population is on that standard, but thinking high level, the 98% knows those 1 to 2 percenters. They know they're killing it. And so I see a snowball starting to roll that's going to get bigger. And then the other side of me says there's a lot of the world that's underserved with banking in general. And they're just going to leapfrog past the banks straight into the crypto world. And that's exciting because it's going to put more demand on the crypto network for Bitcoin, and it should increase prices over time. Next up, this author asked ChatGPT how to get rich off of Bitcoin. And here's what it said. Now, I had to chuckle. Some of this I've done, but it kind of rubbed it in. It's like, well, if you just bought it a decade ago, you'd be rich already. And I'm going to talk about one of those whales here in a minute. But you could buy and hold. Even now, I think we're early. You haven't missed the boat. You can buy fractional Bitcoin. Robinhood, it's super easy. I've done it on crypto.com. There's a bunch of platforms that you can trade Bitcoin. I would recommend limit orders. A lot of times these platforms bury that and it's hidden, but that will help protect the price slippage, and you buy low, you sell high. Now, I would say in America, anything held less than a year is treated as short-term capital gains, which is a higher tax rate, but I'm not your tax advisor. If you hold it more than a year, you normally pay less in taxes. And day trading, which I have done for years, can be a full-time job, and it can be stressful, especially if you buy on margin, which is money you don't have, basically loaned money to you, and then it goes the wrong direction and you're left hanging the bag. So don't be that guy. Next up, you could do Bitcoin related earning platforms. Another ChatGPT suggestion, earn money as a freelancer online and get paid in Bitcoin. We just talked about that with Cuba and what they're doing down here, right? Protecting savings from inflation, receive payments done online like software development, digital art. What else could you do to make money on Bitcoin? Well, you could buy companies that invest in Bitcoin. Now, funny enough, MicroStrategy obviously comes to mind. They're the biggest that have started Bitcoin treasuries. They keep buying it. I'm actually going to talk about Michael here in a minute and what he's doing with Bitcoin. But if you hold Bitcoin on your balance sheet, you're a public company, you can buy these companies by just trading their stock. And funny enough, I predict that MicroStrategy is actually going to be larger than Microsoft one day, probably the most biggest company public in the world. And it's not because of their underlying business, it's because they got in early on Bitcoin, and he keeps buying and buying and buying. And I think that's going to serve him greatly in the future. Coinbase comes to mind as well. Tesla has Bitcoin, but I have basically highlighted a lot of these companies in my previous videos, and I will continue to do so going forward. Another thing you could do is you could buy into the index funds that are trading Bitcoin. So iBit comes to mind. I talk about that a lot because I'm making six-figure amounts trading it. I sell puts. If you're unfamiliar with options, we could talk about that later. Ask your questions in the notes. But I'm obligating myself to buy 100 share blocks of iBit. I make a premium to do that, and I obligate myself to sell them at higher prices. I make a premium to do that, and I also hold the shares. And it just prints money day after day after day, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't do what I do. Next up, Jack Dorsey. We were just talking about Bitcoin treasury companies. I can't think of one like Jack's, because if you think about the history, he started Square, right? And essentially allowed small business to transact in an underserved community, solved a problem. So if I am a small mom and pop guy selling something at the bazaar, I can take a credit card, right? Game-changing technology. But what he realizes the future is not in exchanging dollars. It's exchanging what future dollars will become. And so he renamed Square to Block, meaning block technology, the blockchain, because crypto is going to be the, in his opinion and mine as well, the underlying standard as far as future transactions, because it's superior to dollars and credit card companies and everything else that is out there, wires. And so he can make money off the fees. Sending money to and from person to person, and he's going to print. He's waiting for one thing right now, because I guarantee all that's already set up. He's waiting for laws to change, because right now you have to track the cost basis of the crypto when you buy it and then when you sell it. But when you think of it as money, and if the laws change, he flips one switch, and watch how quickly this company goes up. Now, on a second note, really what this is highlighting, they're getting added to the S&P 500. What does that mean? Well, fund managers that have index funds that track what I would consider the 500 greatest companies in America, I have to buy his company because it's getting added to the S&P 500. So I would guess that the stock's going to go up in the short term as a result of that. So again, not giving financial advice, but how I'm going to play it, I'll sell a put against it at about $70 a share. Maybe 1 to 2 contracts, obligate myself to buy $7,000 to $14,000 worth of his company stock, and I'll collect that premium. Possibly I buy some shares at that lower price. If I don't, I just keep the premium. That's how I'm playing it. Next up, Bitcoin news today. MicroStrategy hints at a new Bitcoin accumulation strategy. So again, talking about Bitcoin treasury companies, public companies that are buying up Bitcoin, adding it to their balance sheet. MicroStrategy's Saylor hints that there's a new Bitcoin strategy. You mentioned this on X. The company holds currently $7.1 billion in Bitcoin. He basically predicts it's going up another 10,500%, and that their company will have over a $300 trillion valuation. Now, just to let you know, the largest company on earth right now that's public is Nvidia, and they just crossed $4 trillion. So he's predicting his company is going to be worth $300 trillion. Not because of his underlying business right now, but because of the Bitcoin holdings. And so many companies, I talk about it actually on every video, are moving into that and becoming Bitcoin treasury companies because they're seeing the success of this. Next up, I always look at the negatives, and this to me is a negative. Now, last week I talked about a whale that sold about $1 billion worth of crypto, and I said, you know what? That's about 1 day's worth of ETF inflows. So the system can absorb that very easily. Well, this one, 9.5 billion of crypto was basically sold, 880,000 Bitcoins. Wow, that is a $18 million return. So think about the lottery, right? People get excited. They envision themselves, hey, I buy this dollar ticket and then I win $1 million, and what that looks like. Well, somebody spent $54,000 a little over a decade ago, and now it's for 9.5 billion. I can't even fathom. Like 999 million is just shy of $1 billion. So just think about that. Oh, crazy. So my first question when I see this is why? Why would a whale sell? Everything I see right now, the adoption from governments, from ETFs, from everything, almost everything's positive right now. Why sell now? You know something I know? I don't know. My thought, and I want you to put your thoughts in the comments, but succession maybe a divorce, right? that requiring the sale of assets. Maybe they're buying a company. I don't know. We might not ever know why this whale is selling, but here's what I would say. I can't think of another asset over the next 20 years that's going to appreciate as fast as Bitcoin. And that's my opinion, but I can't think of one. And I've been on pretty much all of them. I invest in gold. I invest in silver. I invest in stocks. I trade options. I have real estate. None of it compares to what I think Bitcoin's going to do in the next 20 years. None of it. And so why would this whale be selling? I ran into one other article this weekend. I didn't highlight it here. But it talked about quantum computing. And that to me was the first thing I saw where I'm like, ooh. So if you're unfamiliar with what quantum computing is, it's just insanely fast processing speeds beyond what we can even fathom right now. And we're not there yet. Now I track NVIDIA and several companies, and they talked about when they thought quantum computing would come online. And it was kind of like 5 to 10 years was kind of the consensus. Initially, the CEO of NVIDIA said, oh, it's so far out, don't worry about it. But the concern is if you have a computer that can eat through mathematical problems at a speed that is so much faster than anything we have right now, passwords as you know it are non-existent. That would eat right through it. The seed phrase to your crypto holdings won't protect it anymore. And that is a huge concern. So there's things that they've proposed to change the software, and I think all that's going to get implemented before it's a real issue. But it is in my mind the biggest threat to Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the cryptos, because it needs to stay secure. I believe there's enough smart people to figure it out and to make sure it never becomes an issue, and they're starting to address that now because they know in the future it's going to be an issue. We'll see. Obviously, if you're in cold storage, offline, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to get your seed and be able to hack it because it's stored offline. But for these ETFs that are trading in it, right? Who's the target? I don't know. It's something to consider. It's still in the future, but that in my mind is the only thing I would be concerned about. And with that, Bitcoin news tomorrow. Stay tuned.